The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show. You can hear my show from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville. I regret to inform you that I am not the Pope, although the Pope is American, and I am Catholic, so I guess I could have technically maybe been the Pope. But
I do not think even in any chance or form could you have been the Pope. But continue.
Most likely. Mecca Musick also with me, as always, 256today.com CEO. Smart news for smart people, smart enough to not bet on me to be the Pope. Did you know you can gamble on being on the who the Pope
I'm not
was?
surprised. I'm not surprised.
I'm very surprised by that. I think if you gamble to vote on the Pope, that something should happen to you. I think it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. We'll talk about gambling here in just a little bit. We got a lot to get into. Austin Shipley will be with us. He's the news director at YellowHammerNews.com. We'll talk to him about the legislature and what's going on down there. And I've got a party shot about terrible people, not us, somebody else. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let's get to the 2-minute warning. Well, look at that calendar. Look at it tick away or rip away. Clocks tick. Anyway, the calendar is almost up, and the Alabama legislature is almost done. And it really can't happen soon enough. Sometimes you're ready to get out of these sessions. And what got done? What were the big swings this time? I can't really think of anything, to be honest with you. I'm going to be told I'm wrong here in a second. One of the earlier fights in this session was something over VA boards or something. Can't remember what it was. So, Mecca, I look at this and I think this is maybe a session where you say, what did not get done? And you look at that and you think, the overtime tax cut did not get done.
Yes.
Gambling did not get done. Those are some of the things you saw that you expected maybe coming in to this. So, what do you make of this session so far?
Okay, so for the session, and I love this session. I love it when it's in session. We get to see our lawmakers at work. What are they doing to represent Alabama? What are the important things? Now, I would say I am impressed. This is kind of early for them to do the budgets. They got the budgets taken care of pretty easy with not a lot of drama and just pushed right through.
It could have made it easier to do bigger things if they wanted to. It could have. I mean, if they wanted to, it made it a lot easier to take some of those bigger swings.
What do you mean?
You wouldn't have to get over the higher threshold once the budgets are passed. But they didn't really do that. I mean,
I did miss that there was no gambling, big gambling effort, because that is, as a spectator sport, is the best one in the Alabama legislature.
I just ask, what was their big accomplishment?
Well, Alpha got theirs through, and that was a pretty big swing. They got their health insurance bill through.
But that's for one group. But I'm what is...
as far as a giant game,
what's the signature accomplishment here?
I can't pinpoint one. I can pinpoint many that could add up to a successful session.
It's like having quarterbacks. If you have two, you have zero, and that's basically what it is. So if I ask you what they've done, and you rattle off a bunch of little things, you don't have a big one. And we'll ask Austin about that.
I know. I'm excited to talk to our guest. Right. He'll have a good one.
I'm sure he'll have a good one for us, a big one. I'm just saying, there's not something in this legislative session that we all look at and go, look what they did, good or bad.
I would say the overtime tax one. I mean,
didn't do.
Exactly, but you said good or bad.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but you still have to get it done in order for it to happen. Not doing something isn't the thing.
Well, it's funny that it's getting an effort. I'm sorry, I know we're going to the next topic, but it's funny that they're going through the effort now, Tuberville, trying to introduce it, on the federal level as this is a great idea. It started in Alabama, but now we're not going to do it.
The bill had support of the House Minority Leader in Alabama, the United States Senator, a conservative Republican from Alabama who might be running for governor, and the President of the United States, and they couldn't get it done. All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the next. Let's talk about that United States Senator from the great state of Alabama, Tommy Tuberville. I asked him this week, I said, hey, are you going to run for governor? I said, before you answer that, I know you're going to pray about it. You'll have an answer for us down the line. You're not going to give us anything here. You'll tell us when it's time. And he said basically yes to all of that. So we still have no answer on that. But Tommy Tuberville continues to be a big advocate for the President of the United States agenda. The self-deportation thing, he was out there in front of that saying, look, $1,000 in a plane ticket to get people out of the country, let them go on their own. Way better than paying $17,000 in order to put someone out of the country with all the problems you have with that. So yeah, if you can get people to do it, great. He's also advocated for tariffs. He talked about all the different countries that are lined up to have these conversations. We got a little bit of the first one with the UK today, but it's really just a deal to have a deal, like to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think the same thing happens with China when they start finally meeting with them. They announce, oh, we've got a conversation. I expect a pause on tariffs as soon as that conversation with China starts. But what do you make of Tuberville? He's big on Trump. He's out there. He says, I want to do this. Is he running for governor?
Absolutely. And to second that, he's always out there in front. He's always, name a Trump initiative that he hasn't supported. I really cannot think of one.
I bet there is one, but I can't think of one.
I don't know if there is. Furthermore, he's just he is a good person because you listen when he talks. He's sound clip, everywhere, things like that. So he's a good person to get out in front. I think he's using his position effectively. And like you said, also perhaps to set himself up for a run for governor, which I don't know how much more help he would need to get that.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants. He can go take whatever position he wants in the state. If he wants to be senator and governor at the same time, they'll let him do it. But I will tell you this. I do tell Tuberville every time I get an opportunity to talk to him that I prefer he stay in the Senate. I think he's been pretty effective for the people who voted for him. I think he's been
So then to answer the question, why would he prefer to be governor over senator then?
You could be one of one or one of 100. I mean, I assume plus maybe, I asked him, I said, do you like being in Washington, D.C.? And he said, it's a lot more fun being in charge. I mean, that's basically what he said.
Yeah.
When we're in control, it's a lot more fun. I said, what happens in 2026? He said, I think we're going to keep control. And he went through how they would. So I think he's going to run for governor, but I could see why he'd want to stay, and I prefer he would. All right, let's talk a little bit about gambling. We've mentioned this a lot this legislative session, and the gambling we're talking about now is sort of it's gambling with extra steps. It's bingo, it's dumb, and anyone who puts their money on it is an idiot. That's my take. That's my official take on this. Historic horse racing. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this legislative session. There have been some local bills to allow this kind of things because the people pushing it have zero respect for their constituents, and the idea that they think it's a good idea that they go in and bet on a horse race and then push a button. It's just absolutely embarrassing. It is pathetic, and if you don't know how I feel about it, read between the lines, I think. But Mecca, no movement on the broader gambling thing.
Right.
And then they have this right here where they're trying to do like historic horse racing. I think it's failed as well so far, and I don't think they're going to get it done. And I think it's great. If you like any type of gambling in this state, these things have to fail.
The patchwork method, as it was, which lawmakers did warn that this is what would be coming if they did not pass a comprehensive gaming bill.
Right.
So it shouldn't be a surprise. Once I've heard your take on the historic horse race,
for those who don't know what historic horse racing
wild. It's absolutely wild.
People walk up to these machines and they put their money in, and then they select a horse. And then randomly they run a horse race from the past where you were assigned one of those horses.
Yes.
And if you're dumb enough to sit there and watch it, at the end they go, looks like you lost. And that's basically the gist of the whole thing. Now,
okay,
it's a bad deal. They want to regulate it more.
But it was a local bill, okay? So it was a local bill. The senator sponsoring it threatened filibuster, wasn't going to let any of the other bills go through.
Cloture. I'm putting my money on Steve Marshall on a bulldozer. That's what I want instead of this nonsense.
You've been calling for that for years.
I have.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Look, let me tell you something.
Okay.
If you try to get historic horse racing passed through the legislature and fail, what does that mean? It's illegal. Okay? That's what it means. So shut it down. That is the correct answer here. And I don't know why they just don't do it.
I would bet on
a bulldozer.
I would bet that's not going to happen if we're going to take bets.
He wants to be a United States senator. You know, it'd be awesome on a campaign ad.
That would, okay, maybe for a campaign ad that might happen.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the Pope. Now, as a Catholic,
is it Trump, Dale?
Yes, is it? No, it's not Trump either. We'll get to that in a second. Calm down. So we do have an American Pope. You saw out of the little chimney, it was red, white, and blue. That meant American. And they named him Pope Leo, is what they're going to call him. Now, I was raised Catholic. I attend a Southern Baptist church now, but I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school a bunch. This particular Pope, from the Catholic people that I've talked to, they're much happier with him than Pope Francis. I have a feeling that could go the other way, because if you look at this Pope just through the lens of American politics, You know, there's a lot of, oh, he's a Republican. Well, he's in Illinois. You don't register to be a Republican. He's from Chicago. So forget about that for a second. But you would look at all the issues. He kind of checks all the boxes you would think that a Catholic would check, a Catholic leadership would check. He's pro-life, he's anti-gay marriage, he is pro-gun control, he's pro-immigration, he's all these things. We were talking off the air a little bit. A lot of times you have these constituencies and then you have their leadership. And their leadership is always a little more liberal, it seems, than their constituency because they play at more elite level. They're talking with members of the media. They're more engaged on that level than their constituency. He's just like this. I would call him the first never Trump pope because he's an American. They think he's a Republican. But on some of these issues...
But if you're comparing him to a Republican, you think he would be a never Trumper.
Like a never Trump Republican or okay, fine, Trump Republican. You know, where they kind of begrudgingly go along with that because they agree with him more than the other side, which is obsessed with letting Shaquille O'Neal play in the
Okay,
WNBA.
so let me ask you a question, though. You're raised Catholic and stuff. I polled a ton of my Catholic friends. I was like, okay, tell me, what does this mean to you? They were flabbergasted, didn't think they'd ever see it in their lifetime.
What, American Pope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not. That's not a issue or anything for you.
Well, USA. Is that what we're supposed to do? I mean, is that what they're supposed to be excited about? I mean, to me, he speaks.
That's pretty historic.
He speaks for historic. Yeah, I mean, we do this with everything. You know, the first transgender person to be on the cover of Time magazine. Okay, I guess that's historic, but it's what they do. I
can't believe that's what you just compared that to.
Well, I'm just saying, like we do the whole first thing. 1.4 billion people around the world he speaks for. Okay, he's not an American now. He's a pope.
No,
okay,
I know.
That's what he is. So that's the thing. But yes, people should be happy about this. He brings an understanding of America to the system. That's good. These are really good.
Well, but he spent a lot of his many years in service in South America. So I think that they claim him as well.
Well, they can have him. I mean, it's fine. But he's the pope. So that's how it works. We got to take a quick time out. When we come back, Austin Shipley will be with us. He is the news director at YellowHammerNews.com. Stay tuned.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Extra anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Every year in Alabama, we miss out on between $65 and $90 million in tax revenue by not legalizing sports betting here in our state. Money that can be used to improve our roads and bridges, or elevate our school systems and support our first responders. Contact your legislator to ensure sports betting is legalized in Alabama. Learn more at betonalabama.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
Call 877 877-744-0750. That's 877-744-0750. 877-744-0750.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I'm Dale Jackson. With me, as always, Mecca Musick.
And we're here with the news director, Austin Shipley from Yellowhammer News. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now in the first segment of the show, we were talking about the legislative session. Were there any big wins, surprises? What is your take? I mean, we know you're in the thick of it. Tell us what your take is on this current legislative session.
Sure. So I think maybe the one big win that we could take away from this session is the public safety legislation that got passed. I do think that that's something that's somewhat of a big win. I know, like you guys were saying earlier, it's kind of a session that's difficult to pick out big wins from. But as far as my opinion goes, I think the public safety legislation is a pretty big win.
Yeah, you saw that in, there was a lot of contentiousness about it towards the end, and maybe people thought it wasn't going to pass, but they did finally get it through. The question I would have about it is this the end of it? Like, we see this incrementalism with this kind of stuff. Same thing with the library stuff. There's all this incremental, the Don't Say Gay bill, but not that that's what it actually is. But, you go K to 3, then you expand it, then you go further. Is this the end of that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So it's a one and done. It would take one shot at it and have it as is. We were talking about the overtime tax cut. This is the thing that kind of surprised us. I think I called this from the very beginning when there was a little bit of, let's see if there was some consternation about it. I said, they're probably just going to let this thing expire, not to do anything. Now they went and they said, okay, we're going to remove some of the food tax, which was already coming off anyway, so they took that as a victory. They get 2 victories for that one. Were you surprised they didn't take that up, the overtime tax cut?
I was. I think I was even more surprised at the fact that it was House Minority Leader Anthony Daniels that actually kind of picked up the banner there and tried to make it work, whereas it just didn't have as much support as you would think from certain conservatives, and I don't know why that would be.
Yeah, they made the argument, I mentioned this last week as well, I'll just say it again. They made the argument that it costs the state too much money, but conservatives generally argue that tax cuts don't cost money.
Right.
And Anthony,
it was like flipped this time.
They flipped it around.
Yes.
Like they completely flipped it around and said that it was a different issue. And I think a lot of it could have been said better by the uncertainty of how much it actually was. They missed it a lot. Yes. On the Legislative Resource Office was off on the suggestion of how much it would actually be. So I don't think they could gauge it moving forward, sort of thing. Is there any blowback on this? Will there be any blowback on this? I don't think there will be.
Especially with, it gaining support, Tuberville speaking out on it, things like that.
I think the blowback on it will be, we might actually see it show up in the upcoming governor's election. You see Tuberville coming out in favor of the overtime tax exemption. And you have what appears to be state legislators who may not be as interested in that. And so I think because you do have a lot of Republicans and in general Alabamians that work overtime, I do think that it could come back during the governor's election, possibly. I think that Alabamians are going to be really, really happy to have Tuberville in the governor's office if we get that opportunity.
Okay, well that's perfect. You brought that up because that's what I want to talk about next. Looking ahead to 2026, you think Tuberville is going to run for governor?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like he said, he's praying with his wife but I feel that he is going to run.
So what does the Senate race look like then?
Right.
Is it Ainsworth and Marshall? Is that just what's going to be?
So that's interesting. I think Marshall will absolutely run for Senate. Ainsworth, I'm not so certain, because Ainsworth has gone on the record saying that his main interest is the governor's office. So as far as the Senate race goes, I don't know that Ainsworth has a expressed interest in it yet, but I do think that A.G. Marshall will certainly run for it.
I think Marshall's it, no question about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ainsworth pulled it out on Facebook last week, and that tells me that there is some interest there and that he is going to do that.
There's a big event coming up, a big list that Dale's very familiar with.
Never made it yet. I'll get there.
I'll get there. All right, tell us about the list. No, I think you're number 51.
Every year,
correct?
every year. So the Power Influence 50 from Yellowhammer News.
That's about to come up. It's a big deal every year. Can you tease a little of it for us, because it's about to come out like any day now?
Sure. So what we've been doing, especially on our social media sites, and our editor's been doing a really good job of getting this out. We've incrementally been releasing the people on that list on our social media. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, I would suggest that you go to Yellowhammer News or you go to our social media to check that out.
Okay, so my next question is, when is Dale going to make the list?
Oof. I don't know. 51 is going to stick around for a while.
I'm more powerful than all these people.
That's the perfect response from you, Dale.
It is. I think what the people who make this decision, they don't ask me, by the way. I work at Yellowhammer. They don't ask me. They don't ask me. I think that they don't want to upset other people I work with who would not make the list. And I don't think they want to be seen as doing like favoritism.
Sure.
That's definitely it.
Everyone already knows. I mean, there's no question about who easily one of the top 50 most influential people in the state. And I think they're afraid of the speech I might give. I think that's also
it's a possibility.
Real quick before we let you go, gambling. So local gambling bill is probably dead. The big gambling bill, absolutely dead. It's my theory that these local gambling bills have to continuously die over and over and over again until basically everyone has to make a deal to make money. You saw raids last week in Jefferson County. They stopped issuing licenses. You're starting to see the little pushback on this. This stuff all has to die in order for us to move forward, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. 100%.
How long until that happens?
Next session?
No way.
I don't think next session.
Next quadrennium, maybe?
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't really see it happening in the immediate future.
Okay. 20 more years, guys. My son will be hosting the show, and he can go ahead and talk about it. All right. Thank you very much, Austin Shipley. We appreciate you being here. Mecca's about to leave as well, and Alabama politics this week is about to get so much better as I bring you a parting shot. Stay tuned.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Extra anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Every year in Alabama, we miss out on between $65 and $90 million in tax revenue by not legalizing sports betting here in our state. Money that can be used to improve our roads and bridges, or elevate our school systems and support our first responders. Contact your legislator to ensure sports betting is legalized in Alabama. Learn more at betonalabama.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes, because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay, and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia, and this is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom, Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
Call 877-744-0750. That's 877-744-0750. 877-744-0750.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I got a parting shot for you here in just 1 second. Before I do that, though, head on over to yellowhammernews.com. Sign up for my email blast, the 7 things you should be talking about today, right there at yellowhammernews.com. Also, my videos and other stuff going on there as well. And demand that they put me on the top 50 most powerful and influential people this year or the next. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Let's get to the parting shot. My party shot this week is directed at anyone stupid enough to see someone kill someone like Carmelo Anthony did, or see someone say a racial slur like Shiloh Hendricks did and said, how can I give those people money? Both of them, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And in reality, you don't know what happened in either of those situations. Yet you're still willing to give them money because they identify with whatever cause you have at this particular moment. Sometimes there's just bad people. And sometimes we can just let that be. And I don't understand either of these. If I was a black nationalist and saw someone kill someone, I wouldn't be excited by that, and I would not want that to be part of my message. If I was, and I don't know why anyone would say this, that she's a MAGA or conservative or whatever, and she's out there saying racial slurs, I don't know why you'd want that connected with your particular movement. You're giving them money for absolutely no reason because you think it's some own. It's not. Instead, all you're doing is ensuring that you're going to create more terrible people who, when they do something stupid, they're going to try to grift off of it. We have enough of that. They're called the media. We don't need more of this stuff out there, especially when people are doing willfully terrible things and then profiting from it. You're going to get more of it. Do not do that, okay? Thank you very much for watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week. We'll talk to you next week.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.